Okay, so how's it going, world history? I wanted to create this video to show how we can make sense of some of this data. Now, if you looked at the data before, you saw it was all the points that y'all added were one color. And all I did at first was change the color of those points so that we can begin to see some basic patterns. I mean, on here, I see a lot of blue, which if you see on the right side of, I'm sorry, on the left side of the screen, you see our legend. You can see it's like flags and political symbols. And I think that's true that if you looked in this area, you saw a lot of flags. It seemed like a lot of Europe was sort of just kind of flags and towns. Many of the sort of mythological events seem to happen, at least on the west border. I'm sorry, northeast border, from what I kind of remember. A lot of cities and towns sort of randomly put throughout. But what if I wanted to make this a little bit easier to understand? That's where one cartographic technique called Voronoi polygons exists. And I'm going to show how I create that. You can see I'm in this program. It's called ArcGIS. It's sort of a foundational software for doing some geographic analysis. And if I put my input features as the collaboration, which are the points, and then I'm going to output this this file, you'll see how it's going to start to create these polygons. I told it to only create it within the sort of footprint of what our map was, including all that dead area. But the finished version that you see has it clipped in some regard. Anyway, let me explain what's happening here. These polygons are created so that the area within them is closest to their respective point than any other point. So, excuse me, a little bit of a cough. So, if we zoom in around here, right, this area over here is closest to this point than this point or this point or this point, right? This, see for another good example. This area over here is closest to this green point than it is this pink or this red point. So what we've identified are these sort of polygon areas that are closest to specific points. And then what I did was symbolize them or colorize them based on, let me just make sure there's no difference between two. Based on the category. And the colors aren't the same. I know that's kind of annoying. I didn't get to change that, but you can still see if I take these points off, for instance, this area over here had a lot of those flags and political symbols, and you can see the cities and towns and settlements, again, sort of evenly distributed. Our mythological events happen over here and over here, and there's some flaws, right? And if we had 100 more points, we might see some different patterns, but what it allows us to do is see a method in which we can make some broad generalizations about the map based on the data that you provided. And so I look forward to hearing from your teachers about the conversations you might have about the generalizations that we might be able to make about this map with this kind of technique. Thank you guys so much for providing the data. And I hope that this is a kind of cool way for us to think about how to use old maps and sort of the citizen historian way to better understand history. So thank you very much.